Alright, so here is my Creature Feature Omnibus for 5th edition. This is a print shop edition I had printed at my local shop. I'm not sure if my Kickstarter supporters want to get this version or not. I still have to manage the logistics of shipping, but it cost me about $8, and I think it turned out pretty good. Alright, so anyway, let's get into the book. There's the cover. There's the spine. There's the blurb. Everybody loves a good blurb. Okay, and yeah. Here we go. Table of contents. A through Z, and in the back here we have Monsters by CR. Just flip to that, show you guys. So the lowest end is an 1/8, and at the highest end is 27. This thing is like it's like an arch lich that crossed over to, you know, basically demon prints, so pretty high up there. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I've highlighted a few of my favorite creatures, just, you know, for fun. Okay. So here we have the Astrael. So you get your standard stat block there. Everything fits on an A5 page, clear, readable, legible. And then on your facing page, you have a whole page of art composed as a size comparison. And I got this idea originally from, well, kind of from Lovecraftian horrors there in the background. It was the first place I saw someone do size comparison in a monster manual. I've seen it a few places since, and I like to do it. I think it adds a lot of utility to the book. As mentioned, and many of you guys that are familiar with my work, you'll know that I often rotate the art page to make ample use of it, depending on the general, I guess you'd say, aspect ratio of the creature. I don't know what to say, you know. So if they're squat, you know, then it'll be a landscape versus portrait. There's lots of examples of that. I don't know. Adds a bit of a different feel to reading the book. It's generally, you know, black and white, you know, old school vibe, right? But in some of the art, I have this bit of like gray washout. That's not strictly old school, but, you know, it's still cool. Let's see, what's next here? Okay, yeah. Okay, here's another rotated one. There we go. Stats, art. Oh, and of course, I forgot. You get 2 full pages of fluff featuring, you know, a very florid bit of description you can read to your players when they first encounter the creature. It's always fun. Tactics, how it usually acts in combat, you know, its go-to things that it does. Ecology, you know, lots of people like to handwave stuff, but I try to give the DM enough to make the creature make a little bit of sense in the game, even though it's fantasy, right? You know, I think it's when you have your players encountering orcs in the middle of a random dungeon eating a pie behind a locked door for no reason whatsoever. After a while, it breaks immersion, right? It's not. Some people do. They like those kinds of games. That's not really my thing, though. I also try to get some memorable loot in for each creature, often themed a little bit to the type of monster it is. Maybe it relates to their lore a little bit. Okay, let's see what we got. What's next? Okay, this was a recent updated piece. I began this project way back in, I don't know, it's like right before COVID, and then during COVID, I got a lot of stuff done. It was like, pretty much a COVID project, and it benefited from all the people staying at home. At least the old school Essentials version did over there. I started making 5e stuff first, but I don't know. After a while, I drifted into old school Essentials, and my zines for that line were a lot more popular, it seemed, than they were with 5e players. Maybe because of the black and white art, I'm not sure. Just didn't fit their expectations of what 5e was supposed to be. But I had already had 9, nearly 10 zines completed for 5e, so I didn't want to leave money on the table. So I thought I might as well try to do an omnibus version for 5th edition as well. Oh, okay, I moved my mount. Damn it. Okay. It's a fun creature. So imagine it's your dude. Shoot it with your crossbow, Steve. Right? I don't know. I enjoy this little bit here. It can vomit whites. Or zombies. Okay, sorry. I guess in the old school Essentials they were whites. I don't know. That relates to their lore too. If you get into the lore a little bit, the creatures they eat they're basically in their own little hell inside the thing's gut. They have to serve it for 666 days. A little bit of fun like that. Oh man. Let's see. Fun sketch here. This thing is, as you notice, it has no neck. Its head can separate from its body and float around, Miyazaki style, I guess. Is that a Miyazaki thing? It seems like something Miyazaki would be into. Yeah. Let's see here. This was a bit of art, fun bit of art as well. Of course, the art's always fun. Try to keep it awesome. Let's see, there's another one I wanted to show you guys. I didn't mark it though. Oh, okay. This is also a very high-level threat. The Zethraxis legendary actions and all the good 5e stuff. So it's a massive demon. Wherever it goes, a storm follows and quickly turns everything around it to this giant murky swamp. When it speaks through the flock of crows that surround it. I don't know. COVID era, right? I don't know. At the time, I had a hard time finding a group to play with too, like D&D and stuff. So I scratched a lot of my DM itch by trying to create evocative fluff for all these creatures. Okay, yeah, this guy's awesome as well. A lightning demon. Basically, it can transform into lightning. It follows storms across the globe. Teleports through lightning bolts. Yeah, just good fun. Good fun. So it's been on drive-thru for 2 months, 3 months, and I'm not getting any feedback. Before I submit it to drive-thru's print-on-demand service, I'd like to get some feedback. So I've marked the price down to $15. Usually it's $30. So the PDF it's bookmarked, ready to go, cheap. It comes with I forgot to mention, every creature has its own paper mini template and a VTT token. So, yeah, that plus the tactics and the art, which you can show your players. I don't know. You're very handy at the table, I would say. Very handy. Even if you're playing on a VTT, it would be very handy at the table. All right, thanks for listening.